Hello and welcome. I'm truly happy you are here today. This video is specially made for learners who want to improve their English in a simple and enjoyable way. Whether you are a beginner or an intermediate learner, this story will help you practice reading, listening, and understanding real English. In today's video, you will hear a powerful and inspiring story about a boy from a small village who faces many challenges but never stops chasing his dream. As you follow along, you will hear natural English pronunciation, learn new words, and become more confident in your speaking and listening skills. Listening to stories is one of the best ways to learn any language. You hear how sentences flow, how words sound, and how rhythm works. Reading at the same time helps your eyes get used to English patterns. You can pause any time, repeat, or practice reading aloud. This story is not just for English practice. It also carries strong life lessons. It will inspire you to work hard, believe in yourself, and never give up no matter how difficult life becomes. So relax, focus, and enjoy the journey. Let's begin our reading and listening practice together. Chapter 1. A Simple Life in a Small Village. In a quiet village surrounded by soft green hills and endless rice fields lived a young boy named Zaw. His home was small, made of bamboo and wood, with a roof that sometimes leaked when rain came. Life was simple, and his family didn't have much, but they shared love, warmth, and hope. Zaw's father worked as a farmer, waking up before sunrise every day. His mother sold vegetables at the local market. Zaw, only 12 years old, already understood how hard life could be. He wore old clothes, broken sandals, and carried his school books in a plastic bag because his family couldn't afford a proper backpack. But he never complained. He saw how hard his parents worked, and he wanted to make them proud. Every afternoon after school, Zaw helped his father in the fields, carrying water, pulling weeds, and planting rice. His hands were small, but they worked with determination. At night, when the village grew silent, he studied by candlelight because electricity didn't always reach their home. Some days he felt tired. Some days he felt like giving up. But deep in his heart, a dream burned brightly. Zaw wanted to become a teacher. He wanted to help children in poor villages learn, just like he wished someone had helped him. At school, he was quiet, but curious. He asked questions even when classmates laughed at him. He didn't mind. He loved learning, especially English. He often practiced speaking sentences in front of an old mirror, trying to match the voices he heard on the radio. He believed that English could open doors to knowledge, opportunities, and a better future. But village life was tough. Sometimes heavy rains destroyed the crops. Sometimes food was not enough. Zaw walked 5 kilometers to school every day, and when it rained, the road turned into deep mud. Still, he never missed a single day. Other students sometimes teased him. "You want to be a teacher? You don't even have shoes." Their words hurt, but he remembered his father's advice. "People may laugh at you, but never laugh at yourself. Believe in your dream even if no one else does." So Zaw kept studying. He memorized words. He practiced reading. He wrote in a small notebook until the pages were full. One evening, his mother surprised him with a small gift, an old English book she found in the market. "It's not much," she said, "but I know you will use it well." Zaw held it like a treasure. He read it every night until he knew every word. He didn't have internet. He didn't have a tutor. What he had was determination and he knew that if he wanted a better life, he had to build it himself, step by step. Each day looked the same: school, farm work, studying. But Zaw believed those simple days were shaping his future. He didn't know when his life would change, but he knew why he was working so hard: for his family, for his sister, for the dream inside him. And so the boy in the small village continued his journey, quietly, steadily, with a heart full of fire. Chapter 2. A Big Challenge. The next morning, the boy woke up early. The sun was shining, and the birds were singing. He felt excited, but also a little nervous. Today, he would try something he had never done before. He went to the big hill near his village. Everyone said it was too hard to climb. Some people had tried before and given up. But the boy thought, "I will not give up. I can do it." He started to walk up the hill slowly. The path was steep, and his legs felt tired quickly. He slipped once, but he stood up and kept going. "One step at a time," he whispered to himself. Halfway up the hill, he saw a rock blocking the path. It was very big. The boy thought about turning back, but then he remembered his promise to never give up. He looked around and found a small stick. He used it to push the rock aside. Slowly, with patience, he moved it enough to pass. Finally, he reached the top of the hill. The view was amazing. He could see the whole village and the river shining in the sunlight. He felt proud of himself. "I did it. I did not give up." That day, the boy learned an important lesson. Challenges may be hard, but if you keep trying, you can reach your goal. When he returned home, he told his family what happened. They smiled and hugged him. "You are brave," his mother said, "and strong too." The boy went to sleep that night feeling happy. He knew that more challenges would come, but he also knew he could face them. He had learned the secret: never give up, no matter what. Chapter 3. The Lost Puppy. A few days after climbing the hill, the boy was walking home from school. The sun was warm and the wind made the leaves dance. Suddenly, he heard a small cry. He looked around and saw a little puppy stuck in a bush. Its fur was dirty and it looked scared. The boy ran closer. "Don't worry, little puppy. I will help you," he said softly. The boy tried to pull the puppy out, but the bush was thick and the puppy was stuck tight. He felt tired, but he remembered the lesson he learned from the hill: never give up. He took a deep breath and tried again. This time, he moved slowly and carefully, pulling the branches aside one by one. The puppy shivered, but it stayed calm in his hands. Finally, the puppy was free. It jumped happily and wagged its tail. The boy laughed. "You are safe now," he said. The boy decided to take the puppy home. On the way, he saw a small poster on a tree. "Lost puppy, please help." The puppy's family must be worried. He ran to the address on the poster. A kind lady opened the door. "Oh, thank you," she said, hugging the boy. "We have been looking for him everywhere." The puppy licked the boy's face. The boy smiled. "I am glad I never gave up," he thought. Helping the puppy made him feel happy inside. That night, he told his family about the puppy. They smiled and said, "You have a kind heart. You never give up, and you help others too." The boy went to sleep thinking about all the good things he could do if he kept trying. He knew that challenges and surprises would come every day, but now he also knew that courage and patience could make a big difference. "Tomorrow is a new day," he whispered to himself, "and I will never give up." Chapter 4. The Big Test. The next morning, The boy woke up feeling excited and nervous. Today was a special day at school, the annual sports competition. There were races, jumps, and games. He wanted to join, but he was not the fastest or the strongest. His friends laughed. "You will never win," they said. But the boy remembered his motto, "Never give up." He joined the first race, the running competition. The boy ran as fast as he could, but soon he fell and scraped his knee. Pain ran through his leg. He wanted to stop. "No," he whispered. "I cannot give up now." He stood up slowly, wiped the dirt from his clothes, and ran again. Step by step, he caught up with some of the other children. He didn't win the first race, but he finished. He felt proud. Next was the long jump. The boy practiced carefully. He jumped, and he fell short. Again, he felt disappointed. But he remembered the puppy he had helped. "If I keep trying, I can do it," he thought. He tried again and jumped farther. Not the farthest, but enough to get a small medal. He smiled. Each small step was a success. Finally, there was a team game, a relay race. The boy joined his friends. This time he helped them by passing the baton carefully, cheering loudly, and running with all his energy. His team did not win first place, but they came second. The boy learned something important that day. Winning was nice, but never giving up and trying your best was even better. He had faced challenges, pain, and fear, but he had finished all the races. That night, he wrote in his diary, "Today I fell, I failed, and I felt pain, but I never gave up. I will try again tomorrow. One day, I will win." The boy smiled, feeling stronger and braver. He knew life would give him many tests, but he had learned the most important lesson. Courage and determination always matter more than speed or strength. Chapter 5. The Lost Puppy. One sunny afternoon, the boy was walking home from school when he heard soft cries near a bush. Curious, he went closer and saw a small puppy stuck in some branches. Its fur was dirty, and it looked scared. The boy gently pulled the branches away. The puppy tried to run, but it was weak and hungry. The boy wanted to help it, but he knew it would not be easy. He took the puppy home and gave it some water and food. The little puppy wagged its tail happily, but the boy noticed it had a small hurt paw. "I will take care of you," he said, "but you need to be patient. We will get through this together." Every day after school, the boy cleaned the puppy's paw and played with it. Sometimes the puppy cried, sometimes it ran away, but the boy never gave up. He learned how to be patient and gentle. A week later, the puppy's paw healed. It was stronger, healthier, and happier. One day, the puppy ran to the boy and jumped into his arms. The boy laughed. "See, we did it together." That evening, the boy thought about the lesson he learned. Life was like helping the puppy. Some things were hard, some were slow, and some made him tired. But if he kept trying, never gave up, and stayed patient, he could achieve anything. The boy realized he was not only helping the puppy, but also growing stronger himself. Courage, care, and persistence were not just words, they were actions. From that day, the boy and the puppy became best friends. Together, they faced little challenges every day, learning that small acts of patience and kindness could lead to great results. And the boy knew deep in his heart that this was only the beginning of many lessons about never giving up. Chapter 6. The School Challenge. One Monday morning, the boy walked into school feeling excited but nervous. His teacher announced a big challenge for the class, a science project competition. The winner would get a special prize and a certificate for hard work. The boy wanted to join, but the project seemed difficult. It required building a small robot that could move on its own. Many of his classmates already had ideas and plans. Some even said, "You cannot do this. It is too hard." The boy felt a little scared, but he remembered his promise to never give up. He took a deep breath and said to himself, "I will try my best. I can do this if I keep going." At home, he gathered old batteries, wires, and small pieces of cardboard. He read books about simple robots and watched videos online. Sometimes the robot did not work. Sometimes it fell apart. He felt frustrated and tired, but he did not give up. He tried again. He fixed broken parts. He adjusted the wires. He asked for advice from his older brother and even from his teacher. Slowly, the robot began to move. It was not perfect, but it worked. The day of the competition arrived. The classroom was full of students with amazing projects. Some robots moved fast. Some could lift small objects. The boy's robot moved slowly, but it never stopped. When it was his turn, he smiled and pushed the start button. The robot moved forward, turned, and even avoided small obstacles. The class clapped. The teacher said, "This is a great example of persistence. You never gave up, and look at what you achieved." The boy felt proud. He did not win first place, but he learned something much more important. Success is not always about winning, but about trying your best and never giving up. On the way home, the boy held the robot carefully. He looked at his puppy playing in the yard and smiled. He knew that every challenge, big or small, could be overcome with patience, hard work, and courage. That night, he wrote in his notebook, "Even when things are hard, I will keep going. I will never give up, and I will always try." The boy was ready for the next adventure because he knew that life always had challenges, and he was ready to face them all. Chapter 7. Helping Hands. One sunny afternoon, the boy was walking home from school when he noticed smoke coming from a neighbor's house. He ran closer and saw that a small fire had started in the kitchen. His heart raced, but he knew he had to do something. He shouted, "Fire! Help!" and ran to the front of the house. The neighbors quickly came out, calling the fire department. The boy remembered the small bucket he had in his yard. Without thinking twice, he grabbed it, filled it with water from a nearby tap, and ran to the house. The flames were small, but they were growing. The boy poured water carefully on the fire. It hissed and sizzled. He ran back again and again, filling the bucket and throwing water on the fire. His arms were tired and his clothes were wet and smelly. The neighbors joined him, bringing more water and blankets to control the fire. Soon, the fire department arrived. They quickly put out the remaining flames. The house was safe, thanks to the boy and the neighbors. The neighbors praised him. "You were very brave. You didn't give up even when it was dangerous," said Mr. Lin, the neighbor. The boy felt proud, but also a little tired. He realized that helping others sometimes means facing challenges that are bigger than school projects or games. That evening, the boy sat on his porch, thinking about what happened. He wrote in his notebook, "Helping others is not always easy, but if I try my best, I can make a difference. Giving up is never an option." The next day, the boy shared the story at school. His classmates listened carefully. and many were inspired. The teacher said, "True courage is not only about facing your own challenges, but also about helping others when they need you." The boy smiled. He understood something important. Persistence is not just for personal goals, it can also help others. By staying determined, he could make the world a little better. From that day on, the boy continued his promise to never give up. He also promised to always lend a helping hand when someone was in trouble. Life had many challenges, and he was ready to face them, one step at a time. Chapter 8. The Big Challenge. A few weeks after the fire incident, the boy faced a new challenge. The school announced a science competition. The winner would get a scholarship for a special summer program. The boy was excited but nervous. He had never won a big competition before. He decided to create a project about renewable energy. He wanted to build a small model that could generate electricity from the sun. He started collecting materials, small solar panels, wires, batteries, and a tiny motor. Every afternoon he worked in his room, testing and fixing his project. At first, nothing worked. The solar panel was too weak, the wires didn't connect properly, and the motor wouldn't spin. He felt frustrated. His friends told him, "Maybe you should try something easier." But the boy remembered his promise. Never give up. He studied books, watched videos, and asked his teacher for advice. Slowly, he learned how to connect the wires correctly. He adjusted the solar panel to get the most sunlight. After many tries, the motor finally started spinning. He jumped with joy. On the day of the competition, all the students displayed their projects. Some had amazing models, and the boy felt nervous again. When the judges came to his table, he explained carefully how his model worked. He demonstrated how the solar panel powered the motor and lit up a tiny light bulb. The judges smiled. "Very creative and well built," they said. After all the presentations, the winners were announced. The boy's project won first prize. He felt proud, not just because he won, but because he never gave up, even when it seemed impossible. That evening, he wrote in his notebook, "Big challenges are scary, but if I keep trying, I can overcome them. Giving up is never the solution." His parents and friends congratulated him. They said his determination and hard work were inspiring. The boy realized something important. Success is not just about talent, but also about patience, learning from mistakes, and never quitting. From that day on, he knew that every challenge, no matter how big, was an opportunity to grow. He felt ready for whatever life would bring next. Chapter 9. The Test of Friendship. After winning the science competition, the boy felt confident. But soon, a new challenge appeared, one that tested not only his skills, but also his friendships. The school announced a team project. Students had to work in groups to design a small garden that could grow vegetables using recycled materials. The boy joined a team with 3 classmates. At first, everyone had different ideas. One friend wanted to make a fountain, another wanted to build a compost system, and the last one wanted colorful flowers. The boy tried to listen to everyone, but they started arguing. "Your idea won't work," one said. "No, mine is better," another shouted. The boy felt frustrated. He remembered what he had learned from his science project: patience, focus, and never giving up. He suggested, "Let's try to combine all our ideas. We can make a garden with flowers, a small fountain, and a compost system. Then, we can see what works best." It took many days of discussion, testing and fixing mistakes. Sometimes the plants died, the fountain stopped working, or the compost smelled bad. Some friends wanted to quit, but the boy encouraged them. "We can fix it. Let's not give up now." Slowly, the team began to cooperate better. They learned how to listen to each other and help one another. Finally, the garden was ready. The plants were growing, the fountain worked, and the compost system was recycling waste properly. On the day of the presentation, their team showed the judges how the garden used recycled materials, produced vegetables, and even provided a small resting area with flowers. The judges were impressed. "This is teamwork at its best," they said. "You all solved problems together and never gave up." The boy and his team won first prize again. The boy realized an important lesson. Challenges are easier to face when you work with friends, but teamwork also requires patience, respect, and encouragement. He wrote in his notebook, "Helping friends and working together is as important as never giving up. Together, we can do more than alone." That night, he felt happy and proud, not just of winning, but of the bond he had strengthened with his classmates. He understood that true success comes not only from determination, but also from kindness and collaboration. Chapter 10. The Biggest Challenge. After the team project, the boy felt confident in his abilities, but life had a bigger challenge waiting for him. The school announced the annual Talent and Innovation Fair, where students from all grades could compete to present their inventions. The winner would receive a scholarship and a chance to meet a famous scientist. The boy knew this was his biggest opportunity yet, but also his hardest challenge. He wanted to create something truly useful, not just for winning, but for helping others. He thought and thought, writing ideas in his notebook. Some ideas were too simple, some too difficult. Finally, he decided to build a small solar-powered water purifier that could provide clean water to people in villages. The work was harder than anything he had done before. The parts didn't fit together, the solar panel sometimes failed, and the water purifier leaked. Days passed, and the boy felt tired and frustrated. He wanted to give up, but he remembered all the lessons he had learned: patience, teamwork, and never giving up. He asked some friends for help. Together, they measured, tested, and redesigned the purifier. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it failed. Each failure taught them something new. Slowly, the purifier became better and stronger. Finally, the day of the fair arrived. The boy set up his invention. Other students showed their robots, machines, and projects. The judges walked around asking questions. When they reached the boy, he carefully explained, "This water purifier uses solar energy to clean water, so people in villages can have safe drinking water without electricity or chemicals." The judges tested it. The water came out clean and safe. They were amazed. "This is practical, smart, and helpful," they said. "It shows real thinking and determination." When the winners were announced, the boy heard his name. He had won first place. He was overjoyed. But more than that, he felt proud of all the hard work and persistence that had brought him here. That night, he reflected on his journey. From small challenges to big ones, he had never given up, even when things seemed impossible. He wrote in his notebook, "The bigger the challenge, the stronger I become. Giving up is never an option. Every failure is a step toward success." He understood something very important. True success is not just about winning prizes. It is about learning, helping others, and becoming a better person. Chapter 11. The Test of Courage. After winning the Talent and Innovation Fair, the boy felt proud, but life was about to give him a different kind of challenge, a test of courage. One afternoon, while walking home from school, he heard a cry for help coming from the nearby park. Without thinking, he ran toward the sound. He found a little girl stuck on the edge of a small pond. She had dropped her toy and was leaning dangerously over the water. The boy's heart raced. He had never faced a situation like this before, and he knew one wrong move could be dangerous. But he remembered all the lessons he had learned. Stay calm, think clearly, and act with care. He slowly approached the girl, speaking softly. "It's okay, I'll help you." He stretched out his hand, but she was too far. Thinking quickly, he used a long stick nearby to reach her toy. Step by step, he inched closer. He encouraged the girl. "Hold on! Almost there!" Finally, he grabbed the toy and handed it to her safely. The little girl hugged her toy and smiled. "Thank you. You saved me." At that moment, the boy realized courage was different from school challenges. It wasn't about winning competitions or building inventions. It was about facing fear, helping others, and staying calm in danger. He felt a warm sense of pride, not for himself, but for making a real difference. Word of his bravery spread through the neighborhood. Teachers, friends, and even strangers praised him. But the boy didn't care about fame or recognition. What mattered most was knowing he had done the right thing. That evening, he wrote in his notebook, "Courage is not the absence of fear. It is acting bravely even when you are afraid. True strength is helping others when it matters most." From that day, he understood that challenges come in many forms. Some test your mind, others test your heart. And the greatest victories are not always the ones you can show to the world. They are the ones you feel inside. Chapter 12. The Lesson of a Lifetime. The boy sat on the hill near his home, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of orange and pink. He thought about all the challenges he had faced: school struggles, failed experiments, competitions, and even moments of fear. Each experience had taught him something valuable. He remembered how he had learned patience while practicing difficult skills, creativity while solving problems, and courage while helping the little girl at the pond. He smiled, realizing that every failure, every setback, and every small victory had shaped him into the person he was today. His parents joined him, and they looked at him with pride. "You have grown so much," his father said, "not just in skill, but in character." The boy nodded. "I understand now. Winning or losing doesn't matter as much as never giving up. Every effort, every try, and every act of kindness makes a difference. I feel stronger because I never gave up, even when it was hard." That night, he wrote in his notebook, his pen moving quickly, "Life is a journey filled with challenges. Success is not measured by trophies or medals, but by courage, persistence, and heart. Every failure is a step forward, and every effort counts. Never give up, no matter how impossible something seems." Days passed, and the boy continued to face new challenges. Some were small, like learning a tricky math problem. Some were bigger, like helping his friends overcome their fears. Each time, he remembered the lessons he had learned. Never give up, stay patient, work hard, and act with kindness. Years later, People in his town remembered him not just as the boy who excelled in competitions, but as the boy who never gave up, who inspired others to try, to help, and to persevere. He had become a living example of the lesson he had learned all along. When you refuse to give up, you grow stronger, braver, and wiser. The impossible becomes possible if you keep trying. And so, the boy who once struggled with fear and doubt became a young man full of hope, courage, and determination, a true reminder that never giving up is the greatest victory of all.